following podcast is being brought to you by the Defy Life Podcast Network.
This week on the Defy Life Podcast, we discuss TV shows we'd love to bring back, the most infamous plays in sports history, preview the NBA Finals, and as always, we'll answer some listener questions and wrap things up with some trivia. All that and more. Let's get it.
To defy life. It's more than just about some football. All my sports teams off-season go through withdrawals, 30 minutes to tip off. Like Rakim was saying, weak ideas give me ear problems. Sound like thunder and rain. I'm excited that you came on this journey with three of my friends. Defy life till we die and grow wings. Just a different perspective. Haters in every direction. Refuse to live my life based off your projections. Their expectations are lazy. My expectations are crazy. My lady defies me. Lucy, Brown, Brady, Jordan, LeBron, Aaron, Bonds, Mayweather, Ali Foreman. You get the picture, greatest ever born. I attack without warning. This is not around the horn. The other shows whack, a lot of yawning. You really want to be the best, got to pay the price. We make winning look easy. Welcome to Defy Life. Defy Life.
Welcome to the Defy Life Podcast, powered by the Defy Life Podcast Network. This episode is sponsored by Bud Bottles, home of the Bud Bottle and the Bud Freshener. Please visit budbottles.com for your odor eliminating needs. Thank you for listening. You can find the Defy Life Podcast on iTunes, Google Play, godefylife.com, and everywhere else your favorite podcasts are available. As always, we encourage you to like, subscribe, and give us a 5-star rating whenever you listen. You can also find us on all social media platforms at Go Defy Life. This is episode 109, ladies and gentlemen. I'm your host, J.R. Glymph, joined as always by my wonderful co-hosts, Alvin Glymph, Gerald Hedrick, West Coast Jay. How's it going today, Al?
And man, it's going good.
Good, man.
Good
Welcome
to be
back.
Man, thank you, brother. One of the few vacations I've been on that after a week, I wasn't like ready to be home. I wasn't done.
Because you were home.
I was home, and brothers was telling me, brothers and sisters was like, welcome home, my brother. Welcome back. So it was in Cape Town, South Africa, and just an amazing, memorable, magnificent trip. That's just amazing trip.
Good, man. Yeah, based off the pictures and everything, it looks like you had a ball, like you and the family enjoyed it. So I'm happy you got that experience, man. I'm jealous right now, but I'm welcome back.
I wanted folks to be a little jealous, but not jealous in a negative sense, but jealous in I want to go sense.
Yeah.
A few people that I work with have really encouraged me to share pictures and post. And honestly, I hadn't been on Facebook. I probably was on Facebook more in the last 9 days combined than I was all of this entire year, because I had just kind of stepped back from Facebook, but I had to take advantage of and just share some of the images and pictures and things I was seeing, because one, I wanted to remember it, but really I wanted people to see how beautiful this place was.
All right.
Beautiful. It's like and when we was talking about it while we was there, it was so, I compared it to like gumbo, right? So it's like, when you think about gumbo, in its essence, everything in gumbo exists somewhere else, and
right.
People don't make. You can get a sausage somewhere, you can get shrimp from somewhere, you can get gravy from somewhere, like really. But it's the combination of all that shit that make gumbo.
Right.
And Cape Town, it's like you got these mountains, you got a beach, you got beachfront, and you got the coast. You got Africans, you got culture, you got history, you got racism. Throw all that shit together, and that's what makes it magnificent.
All
and
right.
just ill combination of cultural and political and aesthetic amazement. So, yeah, I'm going back without a doubt. I'm looking forward to going back, and hopefully when I go back, I'm going back with a mossy of motherfuckers, like 20 deep. I want to experience the same shit I just experienced, but with other people to just like, because I didn't have a set tour per se, but we try to do something every day, and it turned out to be like just some real cool ass shit. But it was a shit that everybody told me, when you go, make sure you do this. Make sure you do this. So we did, I would say, about 75% of what people told us to do. And it was just an amazing trip. And with the response of the Black African was like I said, was welcome home, welcome back, come back. And
Cool. So how long is your daughter over there?
So she'll be over there. Yeah, it's funny because we had such an amazing trip. At times, you kind of forgot that I was there to leave my daughter there for 2 months.
Oh, wow.
Right. Yeah. Until the last day when it was like, oh, shit, you ain't coming home with us. Damn, that sucks. So she'll be over there for 2 months doing a nursing internship. And what was cool is we got to actually drive through the community where the clinic's going to be and the people that she's going to serve. And it's like one of the shanty towns in Cape Town. That's going to be the people that she tends to are going to be people out of that impoverished community. So it's going to be a mind-blowing experience for her, just being able to gain some experience, but doing it in a way that helps people, but also she's going to learn from a people that's been disenfranchised. So she's going to come back with an amazing story herself. So, but yeah, she'll be back at the end of July.
Cool. Cool, man. All right. Well, welcome back. And Gerald, Hedrick, welcome back to you too. While Al was across the world playing, you was working last week. Welcome back, sir.
Yes, sir. It's good to be back. Al, welcome back, baby. I know we got a lot to talk about for your trip across to the motherland, yo. Wakanda forever, all of that.
All of that.
Y'all already know the real is back, and it's 2 for Tuesdays. Let's get it. What's up, West Coast Jay? How was your week?
Oh, man, you already know. I'm over here chilling. You know, I'm glad the real is back, so I ain't got to be the real no more.
True that.
You do a good impersonation, though. Damn,
I appreciate that. Too.
Yeah, I was about to sell money. Like, we ain't miss you that bad. We kind of had you. I mean, we had the facsimile of you, at least.
True that.
At least a carbon copy.
We start missing you. We just tell West Coast Jay to start talking. And we're like, oh, there's money. Yeah, man. Jay, you good, though?
Yeah, man. All good.
Cool.
Can't complain. You already know. It's finals on Thursday. So, looking forward to that. The French Open is going on, and Serena. Just as stunning as she ever wants to be. Right. Great fun.
I was gonna say, when you say Serena, you mean she's still my boo, or you mean like something else? Like
no. She's still bad. You know, shout out to Sloane Stephens, who is also secretly bad.
Right.
But other than that, man, that's it. I'm good.
Don't be lusting too much over Sloane. It's Pooh cousin. He get mad when we be lusting over Sloane. So
yo, Sloane bad, Pooh. I'm sorry. Sloane been bad the whole time. Shout out to Josie out the door. You a G. But other than that, Sloane bad.
Yeah, Sloane bad. Pooh doesn't have to be mad.
Yeah. But yeah, man. But yeah, things good. We Pooh, we miss you. Speaking of work, he on the chain gang tonight. So we'll get it on with you next week, Pooh, I guess. Hope everybody had a good long weekend. Last week was my birthday, so I slid my version of mayhem up in there, Al. Really just my laid back version. Winning.
Hey.
Well, happy belated birthday.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, man. Happy birthday, sir.
Thank you, man. I treated myself and went and bought myself the dopest phone on the planet.
All right.
Samsung S10 Plus then.
No, my wife got that shit. My shit trashing her phone right now.
What you got?
I got the
What you
OnePlus 7 Pro. Yo, when I tell you this is the dopest phone, like she hate my phone because it's so dope. We went and got phones in the same day.
Who makes that? That's a Samsung?
It's made by OnePlus. And so initially I was looking at phones and I was like, you know, I always like to buy my phones outright if I have the money to do it, because I don't like paying for a phone that by the time I pay it off, it's time to get another one.
Right.
So I was like, fuck it. It's my birthday. I deserve it, and I'm going to do it. So it has the fastest processor of any of, they call it the flagship killer, because it is on par with and better than most flagships for $300 cheaper than the Samsung S10. But it's got a faster processor. Camera's just as good. I get a 0 to 50% battery in 15 minutes of a charge. Shit is crazy.
I need one of them in my life.
Word.
So when I tell you I can't put this thing down, so with my old phone, you know, when I'm doing work for Defy Life, I gotta sit and I'm doing work. The shit is so fast, like I'm really done with doing shit, and I'm like, I ain't got nothing left to do. So it's pretty fucking dope. So without talking about it too much, where we gotta charge them for advertising time, everybody check out the OnePlus 7 Pro. It's dope. My wife want to steal it, so.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to check this phone out, because you know that's tough to say.
Right, and I was all set to like initially I started looking at the HTC, the U12, and I was like, so like a year old already, so a lot of the things on it, a lot of the specs are kind of outdated already. So I had it narrowed down to initially, of course, the S10 and the Google Pixel 3, the Google 3A.
Right.
And the 3A just, you know, it's a lower end, like on the price range, but you also, you know, you get what you pay for. But considering the price, you get a lot of phone for that price, like $399. But the more I started looking at it, the more I was like, not really happy. And I'm kind of a contrarian, so everybody got Samsungs. I was like, I got to find something different. And so started looking at reviews and recommendations from like reviewers and influencers. Everybody was talking about this OnePlus, and I was like, I'd never heard of a OnePlus. Started doing research on it, and it blew everything out the water. So check it out.
Well, I'll be.
All right.
So
I'll be too. As will I. As will I, West Coast J. As will I.
You know, I need a new phone. My S7 is starting to do janky stuff.
It's crazy how they do that when it's when new shit come out, right?
Pretty much every 3 years.
Right.
S4, S7.
Yeah.
So it's about that time.
Yeah. So, but yeah. So before we get to the meat of the show, as usual, gotta do some house cleaning. So we gotta. I ain't even gonna curse. See, I almost cursed. We got so many new patrons. We have a boatload of new patrons to shout out this week.
Yeah.
All right.
Man, when I tell you folks was jumping on Patreon, supporting Defy Life, that's what, man, I almost cried. But needless to say, shout out to Alicia Lipscomb, Kelly Shameen, Ernest Davis, Siobhan D. Petty. Shout out to all you, to our new patrons, our existing patrons. Y'all
Absolutely.
really brought it this week. And, you know, when I say it was just a flood of, like, they all came, like, back to back to back. So it was dope. So thank you guys. You know, we do this for you. And You know, if it wasn't you, we wouldn't be for you. We wouldn't be able to do this. So, salute to you all. Your name has been added to the Defy Life Wall of Fame on GoDefyLife.com, and get ready to receive all your perks and your gear and all that stuff for being patrons. And check out the exclusive content. And if anybody wants to be a patron of Defy Life, just go to patreon.com/GoDefyLife. Choose your tier and get set up to receive free stuff. You can be a guest on any show on the network. You can host a 10 spot at any time you want to, depending on your tier. You get multiple times a year where you get free gear. It's all kind of crazy stuff. You get Defy Life wristbands, stuff you can't even buy on DefyLifeGear.com. So check it out.
That's right.
And
That's
we appreciate
right.
your support. So, and anybody, out there that's got questions, hit us up. We'll have Kim contact you because she's the Defy Life maven. So when it comes to Patreon. So, but yeah, with that, we're gonna jump into so. And I did a little bit different this week on the news. So I didn't go straight into some news. I just kind of did some spinoffs based on things that happened in the news that aren't really like newsworthy, but had questions related to those topics, right? So our first news tidbit / entertainment. Everybody's aware with who Bill Buckner is, right?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So Bill Buckner, for those who aren't aware, if you're not a baseball fan or if you're not old enough to remember, the 1986 World Series, Boston Red Sox versus the New York Mets. Bill Buckner was a first baseman for the Boston Red Sox, and the game was tied, right, Al? And Bill Buckner receives a little dribble ground ball down first base, and
Slow ground ball,
ground
hit right up
ball.
the first baseline.
Right. And it went through his legs, right through the wickets, and Ryan scores, and they lost the game. One of the most infamous plays in baseball history, if not sports history. So with that, I want to ask you guys, what in your mind, what's the most infamous play in sports history? Al? Al must have
Did
been
we
a Red
lose
Sox
Al?
fan. I don't know.
Did we
Al.
lose Al? Is that what happened?
No, I know, right? You would think after 26, 24 hours of flying, that wouldn't be, I'd be handling this a little better, or maybe not.
Nah, jet lag make you forget how to work mute.
Right.
Must be, right?
Mm-hmm.
Too much sleeping. So here's what I was thinking. I couldn't think of a play that came to my mind that was of as much value as that. Like I thought of Leon Lett, like with him running in the Super Bowl and the wide receiver catching him and knocking the ball out before he got there. That was kind of crazy. Leon Lett with the Thanksgiving play. I thought about that. Yeah. I thought of because all this shit Cowboy related and shit, right? So I thought of Jackie Smith dropping a catch for a touchdown against the Steelers in the Super Bowl. That dude, and he was a Hall of Famer, and he dropped that pass.
Yeah, right.
The butt fumble. So it's some ones that came to mind that were like even crazier, but nothing to me of the magnitude of the World Series where you almost won, and you would have, as the Red Sox, they would have ended an amazing streak of them not being. They hadn't won a World Series in forever at that point. So it was major, but I really think top of my list is still Bill Buckner right now, just because of how important it was.
Yeah, it's tough to top that. Money, what say you?
Man, I thought long and hard about this, trying to think of a different answer, because the first thing that popped into my head was oh man, what's that guy's name? The controversy that happened in Wrigley Field with Steve Bartman.
Oh yeah. I remember that.
Yeah, man, that was all the way on my mind all day.
Like that was like as much as I tried to shake it. Now I know the Cubs have since exercised that demon, but when you want to just talk about something that, because I think that happened in like 2001 or something, 2002 or something like that. I can't remember, but I just remember like I think the Cubs were ready to win the game, and the guy was gonna. I don't know. I don't even know if he's gonna make the catch, but he went to catch the ball, and Bartman stuck his hand over the rail and caught it, and then the Cubs went on the. I think so.
It was more than a little left field,
and the Cubs went on to lose the game and the series, and they didn't. I mean, they weren't even good after that for a long time. So I mean, the guy had to get like security, and Chicago police had to walk him around and then he had to move. So you want to talk about someone infamous? He wasn't even a player. He was just a fan. Right. I mean, players get death threats, dude. Like, I remember stories about, especially like these huge football schools. I remember when Matt Stafford was at Georgia. I think he lost a big SEC title game, and they were sending death threats to his parents' house and all kinds. Like, fans are crazy.
Yeah.
And I think I think there's no place in sports for that type of stuff. But I mean, the guy had to uproot his whole life. He's just a Cubs fan. I mean, the look on his face was just. I don't even think he realized what he had done, but the look on his face was just priceless. I mean, it was just crazy. So infamous, sports related. I gotta go with Steve Bartman in that. I think that was the the AL? Was it? No, was they were playing?
No, that was the World Series.
That was the World Series. I think that was the World Series. Yeah. So,
five.
Oh yeah, big. Oh yeah. That gets my vote. That gets my vote.
That's a good one.
Because, the whole city of Chicago, the whole state of Illinois was on his back.
Yeah, it was White Sox fans wanted to kill him.
Yeah, like he had the north and the south side of Chicago after him.
Right.
Good grief.
Yeah. Jay, what you got?
Man, I love hearing all of the cowboy gaffes. That's my favorite thing.
Oh, I bet.
Like that just amuses me, tickles me pink, as it were. But Bartman been on my mind all day. So this is how I know the real is back. Because, like, the original copy of the carbon copy just took my whole line. Which leaves me with the simplest. Chris Webber, you ain't had no timeouts, bro.
A good one.
Oh, I had forgot about that one.
Wasn't no timeouts.
Wow.
He got to the corner, chased that ball down. I'll give him that. It was a good hustle. However, you ain't had no timeouts, man.
That was a heartbreaker. Oh, that broke my heart.
The Fab Five was supposed to win that game, man. They were supposed to cement all kinds of lore. It wasn't even just the basketball players themselves. I'm talking about the long shorts. Yeah. I'm talking about the
black socks, the ball heads,
the black socks, everything. It was bad. The culture needed that.
Yeah, he messed that one up.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, so that's where I'm at with Infamous. Like
us Tar Heel fans would like to remind y'all that he did travel first.
Yeah, he did.
True that. So he fucked up twice.
Either way, he gave the ball up. Let's just call it what it is. He gave the ball up.
Yeah, that timeout was poetic justice for them not calling that travel.
But as infamous as that was, like, he was only 18.
He was.
Buckner, a grown-ass veteran, done been to the All-Star game several times at this point. And but baseball's a funny sport. Like, it could have hit a rock. It could have hit a ditch. Like, it was so crazy. As easy as it looked, baseball's a hard enough sport that you really don't know why he just missed it. I mean, he could have been looking and anticipating, but it could have easily just took a badass bounce and he looked real bad. And either way, he didn't catch the grounder. But
Because think about it. That's a ground ball that he probably gets 50 times in practice.
Yep.
I mean, he wasn't a young baseball player, so from high school to that point in his career, he's probably fielded that ball successfully 99% of the time.
Yeah, that was by definition a routine grounder.
Yeah, it was like baseball players just make that play. So I mean, every now and then you see the guy that misses an occasional drooper or things start going to their backhand and they but that wasn't a high degree of difficulty play, and I guess that's what makes it so infamous. Because he just missed it, and there's no, it happens. It's like a receiver, an all-pro receiver dropping a pass where he's wide open because it happens. All-pro quarterback missing a throw because it happens, but it was just very rarely does it happen. But it's so magnified if it happens on the biggest stage. Yeah.
Now, if we're going by pure definition, I got to toss one out there for honorable mention. The California Golden Bears beat the Stanford Cardinals with 4 seconds left and the band on the field. Like, I just want to throw that out there as an infamous play for honorable mention because the band was on the field.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was crazy, too.
You know which one I'm rolling with?
Oh, go ahead, because I got 2 honorable mentions, too. Go ahead.
I'm rolling with the Tuck Rule. The Tuck Rule game.
I agree. That man fumbled that ball.
Charles Wilson sacks Tom Brady. And I say infamous outside of obvious reasons, but also that's the game and that's the season that started the dynasty. Without that game, that dynasty never starts because Tom Brady may not be the quarterback anymore. Drew Bledsoe may still be the quarterback. So it started what we still see as a dynasty ship. This was 2001.
Yeah, that was years and years ago.
And they just won another Super Bowl. Like, how crazy is that? I
can't believe this dude's still the quarterback.
And
like
they
fumbled, John.
Right.
That just don't
Yeah,
happen.
that's always going to be a problem. He fumbled.
And they've now changed the Tuck Rule, where it's not, it's not as much bullshit as it was. That was a BS call, but it was by the rule, I guess. But yeah, I got to go with that one. What were your honorable mentions?
Oh, y'all's responses triggered a couple of memories that I just wanted to shout out. That was really crazy. So your answer, Jay, made me think about this past playoff season where the Rams get into the Super Bowl due to a blown call, and that will go down as one of the worst missed calls any sport, any stage ever, right? So that's what that came to mind quick. But
shout out to my cousins in New Orleans. I'm sorry that happened.
Yeah, true indeed. I didn't make money on that game though, so I wasn't sorry it happened. But that's another story, right?
Or hey, Al, not to cut you off, but or the year before that with the Saints, man, heartbroken. Remember they lost. Wasn't that the NFC Championship game where they lost on that last play against the Vikings?
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Steph Curry.
So they got. Oh, I just remember that they got 2 back-to-back years in a row of last play of the game shit.
Yeah.
I had a couple. I had a couple of other ones, but I just want to can we just kill this segment right now and just give it like a moment of silence for my New Orleans folk? Because if you think about as a fanship, to lose 2 seasons in a row like that,
right?
Oh, I hadn't put those 2 years, and I know there's some New Orleans listeners like, what the hell? Why y'all just bringing that shit up?
Yeah, how you gonna bring up old shit?
Yeah. Oh, shit.
They've been dealing with it for a minute. We just noticed it.
Hell yeah.
I just realized it.
Like
I just realized it just now.
Like, that was y'all? Oh, shit.
Oh, damn. I hope we didn't open a new wound.
No, you can't. Like in New Orleans defense, they're gonna have a party anyway.
Yeah,
It does not matter.
No.
That's why I love my New Orleans people.
That's why I love them too.
Well, I hate
like
to double down
on
your Raiders, Jay, but this just made me think of the Immaculate Reception.
Ugh.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, if we're just talking about like the Immaculate Reception was infamous, but it was also so iconic.
True,
like,
and that's what I was about to say. Like, depends on who you were rooting for, whether it's infamous or
right. You know what I mean? Like, if you want to talk about an infamous Raiders play, how about the 7-3 Chiefs and the 0-10 Raiders?
Mm-hmm.
Khalil Mack in the backfield with the sack.
Yeah.
They celebrate the hike. What you mean we offsides? What is y'all doing? Like the Raiders are special.
Yeah.
The Raiders are the Raiders.
They're special. That's about all I got for them. But yeah, like when it comes to just lifelong bonehead, overall, you know, the Raiders kind of, I can't even say they lead the league in lifelong bonehead plays. They just sort of lead the league in dumb shit.
Yeah, that's true. And I don't even know if I mentioned the reason why Bill Buckner is relevant, but R.I.P. Bill Buckner. He died at the age of 69.
Right, he passed away.
So
kind of young.
Yeah. So we just wanted to give our condolences to Bill Buckner and his family, and just go through because you know, I'm hoping that people, and like Al mentioned, he was an all-star, multiple time all-star. So unfortunately, he gets remembered for that play, and he forever will be. Him and Mookie Wilson will go down in baseball lore for that reason. They already have. So, shout out to Bill Buckner, who was a lot more than just one busted play.
Absolutely.
The next one is, I know last week was the Game of Thrones finale. Jay, I know you are. I don't know if you're still crying or not, but a lot of people were talking about the Game of Thrones finale. I don't really know the significance of it. My wife was telling me what happened. I was like, I don't know these people, so I don't get it.
You tripping.
But I know y'all watch it.
I spent 8 years for this. Sorry, go ahead, Mom.
But you can hear the frustration coming from that side of the room.
Right. But I mean, it happens. I mean, you look at all kind of series finales. Apparently, Game of Thrones, The Sopranos, Martin. You know, people always, when that last episode comes, it's always a letdown. Generally, it's a letdown. So, with Game of Thrones ending, you first, Money. If there's a series that you could bring back, what would it be?
So let me just say, like, Game of Thrones is the best show on TV. Like, I've never seen anything like it. It's an amazing show. Hats off. I really don't have a problem with Thrones or how they ended it, how the last season went, or anything like that. Like, I've always been a huge fan, still a huge fan. So let me just say that. There's a lot of people that was wilding out. Like, I wasn't one of those people. My feelings are just hurt that the series is over. It's when the network makes a decision to end something at the very height of its popular. I mean, that's a tough call. Pooh will tell you for the show Power. It's coming up on its last season. It's at the height of its popular. I think. I guess that's a tough decision to make when you're a producer or you work for the network or whatever, and you're doing a show and then you decide we're gonna end the show now, and more people watch it now than ever have. So to me that's a tough call. But if I had to make a call about what show to bring back. I was a big fan. I guess I'll throw 2 out there. I was a big fan of the show Dexter.
Okay.
Fair enough. That had a horrible ending too.
Loved that show. Thought the ending was terrible. but I felt like that show could have. I felt like there was still more that they could have done with that show, even though it did also. Jay, was that 8 seasons also?
Mm-hmm.
I think that was about 8 seasons also that they gave us.
8 or 9, yeah.
Yeah, so that's still a long time, and probably, I didn't think The Wire. I didn't think The Wire got enough seasons either. That's one of my all-time favorite shows. Also, yeah, that was a great show. The Wire was the first Power in my opinion. Really, really great show. If I could see either of those shows back, I would be very, very happy if they could get like a reboot. And just throw this out there. Fox also came out with a show called The Passage. And it was this first season was this. They already canceled it, so I would actually love for another network to pick that up, because I can't remember the girl's name, but the little black girl that played like the lead character was so dope in that show, and I would love to see her get some more work. So those 3 shows.
Cool. All right, Jay, what you got?
All right, well, the carbon copy of the real once again. The Wire was my number one answer. That was where I was going. I can't follow money on Family Feud. I know that for sure. Like, if we the lightning round, we ain't getting the extra money. That's all I know. It's just hear constant. But so since The Wire was taken from me, because that was one of the dopest shows ever. Then I guess I got to go back to good old-fashioned comedy. I want them to bring back In Living Color, and I want the Wayans to run it again.
That'd be dope.
Like, I want them to bring, like, some, just give us some new, give us the new Jim Carrey, give us the new Fly Girls, you know what I'm saying? Give us that show was so influential. It made so many careers.
Right.
So many careers.
Question, Jay, because I don't know if you saw the the mini reunion, and it wasn't a show, but they were just on a panel. I think it was Keenan, Sean, David Allen Greer, Tommy Davidson, and Kim, and they were just talking about the show. And one thing they said that kind of stood out to me is a lot of the things we got away with back then, we wouldn't.
Oh yeah, can't do it no more. No comedy right now.
Right.
You can't say none of that stuff no more. You can't have the Fire Marshal Bill.
Men on Film.
Men on Film would be eviscerated.
Hold on. Do you remember the character? I don't even expect y'all to remember the character's name, but the white guy,
Jim Carrey.
What's his name?
Jim Carrey.
Jim Carrey. Thank you. Jim Carrey had a character where he was like a European steroid taking.
Vera DeMilo.
So
yes, could not get away with that right now in this transphobic era.
Right.
Okay. So we're standing there at somebody's graduation, me and my wife. My wife makes the comment that one of the kids reminds her of that character, right? And I'm like, who? So we bring her up online, and I'm like, oh shit, like I remember that character. And you know what? Yeah, she does. But I show it to my daughter, and my daughter is like mad offended. She's just like, what? Y'all not supposed to, hold on, wait a minute. Like, hold on, how y'all just gonna, and I'm like,
this ain't funny, Daddy.
Maybe that shit ain't not funny now. It was then, and it is now.
Yeah, look, man, it's funny to us, but we come at this point we're the old fogies. Because even if you go back to sticking with the Living Color folks, Jim Carrey in Ace Ventura. So the original Ace Ventura, if you actually watch that movie, is remarkably transphobic.
Hilarious.
But it's remarkably transphobic.
Right.
Like at the end of it, they remember when they found out he was a dude? The girl was a dude, and all of the dudes start throwing up. washing their mouth out,
Yeah.
spit chewing all the gum. Like that was you can't do that no more. You can't do that anymore.
Yeah,
Can't do that shit no more.
most of the stuff they can't
handle.
do. What was the
Beyond.
homeless dude?
Oh, Damian Wayne's.
Yeah, Damian Wayne's the
character.
homeless. Yeah, the homeless.
Even
guy,
Homie D Clown, he
Homie
couldn't do it with
Clown.
Homie the Clown no
Yeah,
more.
he couldn't hit kids. Yeah, he couldn't hit kids with a sock. Like they would completely have to reboot like everything.
Oh yeah. Like the writers now would have to be so watered down. It'd be so silly.
Right.
Like it would end up. Although then again, I mean, I guess
I don't know,
Chappelle kind of was the last one.
Saturday Night Live seemed to do okay.
Yeah,
And they really don't care who they offend.
Yeah, but Saturday
true
Night
that.
Live, but even Saturday Night Live is trash compared to Saturday Night Live in the 90s. Like,
I gotta say that too. Like
Saturday
other than
Night
their
Live
couple of character actors,
Yeah.
they
All
gotta
comedy is trash compared
well, no, I
to
would
the
say all
90s, though. Yo, that
comedy,
was
not all comedy. Both
Not all
comedy.
most of it.
Most
I mean,
The
comedy.
Definitely
90s
the
was like the
commercial
heyday. The 90s was
Comedy
like
that's
the
gonna be on the
heyday
network.
of comedy. Yeah.
Mm.
I'm not a huge fan of comedies on networks. Like I'm a big fan of stand-ups.
Depends.
Yeah, I mean, it's only a few of those that are left that still actually, you know what I mean, hold down the platform for real. Actually, are not afraid of somebody telling them I'm offended or not. It's like,
Right.
dude, I'm trying to be funny. Quit playing.
Yeah.
Either don't laugh or laugh. Pick one.
Yeah.
Like, there's very few of those
Yeah.
still left.
Yeah.
But the ones that are still left are hilarious.
Yeah.
Right. And black comedy was always different from white comedy anyway, so I mean, I don't know if that's still a thing out there, but I mean, they didn't find us funny really for a long time, and guys had to come up with their own platforms and all of that. So I just think that I don't know. I think there's still some realms that people could get away with just being funny. Like I don't want to be so easily offended that I don't find shit funny. But I mean, I get it. The need for, censorship, and you can't just be out here saying all kinds of wild shit. But I still don't want to be so offended that I can't find shit funny.
But I don't think you represent like the people that they running from. Like,
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of people who rather not be offended
Than to be
than laugh.
entertained.
You know what I
right.
mean? Like if they had to take a choice.
Mhm.
I don't want to get offended. That's their main. Oh, they don't want to offend somebody. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
where my attitude is, if it's funny, say that shit. That's
Right.
pretty much my attitude.
And I chose
Right.
to come to this comedy show.
Right. That's really
Right.
what it's boiling itself down
It-
to. Is if
it's
you're
just a fucking
afraid,
joke.
Right.
yeah, if you're afraid to be offended, don't go to a comedy show.
Right.
Go.
Right.
Or don't watch that TV show. You know what I mean? Like, you can watch
Right.
something else if that TV show was offending you. If this isn't for you, switch the channels. Keep it
Right.
moving.
Trying to tell you, HGTV got you on. They got you on lock right now. If you are afraid of comedy,
Yeah.
Come
feel
on.
free to watch Bravo.
Mhm. All right. I don't know. Al, what you got?
It was mentioned, but it went from, I ended up with Dave Chappelle. I thought about The Wire. I thought about In Living Color as well. So to come up with another one, it'd be Dave Chappelle.
Yeah.
I love that show. But as it was hard kind of coming up with shows because my experience tends to be I show up late on a show. So either it's people done, 3, 4, 5 years into it.
Right.
With the Key and Peele show, by the time I started watching, the whole shit was off and shit. I had to
Right.
just watch the whole shit from beginning to end. It wasn't even on TV no more. But I will stick with Dave Chappelle. And if I could also throw in a little Game of Thrones shout out, because I definitely am a Throner, and it was one of the greatest shows I've ever watched, without a doubt. Liked how it ended in terms of the season. I wasn't overjoyed, but being in South Africa watching it, not being really in a circle to share, I had to really just talk with my son who hadn't even watched it, and just it really, for me, it was just, I think some of the letdown is because, I mean, really, Game of Thrones, they should kind of be mad at themselves here, because they took a year and a half to go from season 7 to 8, and that build up of people rewatching it and watching it and rewatching it and telling their friends to watch it, and they watch it, and then now we just kind of coming up with what could be the ending, and we done talked through the script. We could have wrote 4 or 5 scripts on addition to the script they wrote, because we talked about it so much that it was impossible not to cover everything that we talked about in this universe, and people inevitably were just disappointed, just because we were all writers at that point, or at least contributors to that point, if we needed to be, because we were so knowledgeable in the plot and the characters, and we were just ultimately disappointed. But that being said, I thought it was a solid way to end the season and the series, and it did leave me wanting more. From what I read a little while ago, I don't know if they'll follow through or not, but they were talking about doing similar shows on the plot, but just from what they call them, prequels, I guess, of the storyline that we've seen.
Oh yeah, they definitely doing a prequel.
I mean, they made too much money on it.
Right, I'm down.
Like it got too much of a following.
Yeah, I liked it though.
Well,
I'll
take your word for it. But if
come on, man, it ain't too late. It ain't too late.
No, it's been too late for me. But if it's, and I'll tell you the reason why now I'm damn sure not going to watch it. V's.
Hilarious.
V's all on Facebook, mad, cussing their folks because they say they don't watch Game of Thrones. It's people like that that make me not want to watch a show. I'm the same way with Power. People get mad, you don't watch it. I'm like, man, you acting like a jackass. I just ain't going to watch it. We can save this conversation. Like, V's
what
out
they
there
getting mad for?
Because the people feel invested in it, man. They feel like it's part of it. They feel like it's theirs. Like they did that,
right?
And they want to be the first one to bring you to. And if you're not watching it, then they ain't messing with you and all that. It's like, but why are you mad? I mean,
that's crazy though.
Yeah, V's out there mad because having Facebook rants because people was like, I don't watch Game of Thrones. Shout out to y'all that do. But I don't follow trends, and if I don't want to watch it, I ain't going to watch it. If he's jumping on posts mad. So I was like, I just ain't going to watch it. But yeah, thanks, V's. Saving me that time.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. But yeah, I got to, But I would have to go with, Chappelle's Show and The Wire would be right up there for me. But one, like, lesser famous show, I don't know if you ever saw Underground on WGN.
Nope.
Underground was dope. So it was about slaves revolting, and it's a story around this family. It was dope. But WGN.
Oh, I've heard of it. I heard of it, but no, I never actually watched it.
Yeah. So WGN canceled it after 2 seasons, just abruptly, and so just went away. And other networks were talking about picking it up. Nobody ever did. But it did spawn a lot of like careers from the actors in, from that show. So really, really dope show. A lot of people don't know about it, but I enjoyed it. So I wish it would come.
I might have to go. I might have to go back and watch it.
Yeah.
Fire Stick. That's what they made for.
Exactly.
Listeners, if you're listening, I will jailbreak your Fire Stick for a low price of $399.99.
Good God.
On the low.
Right.
On the low price. Low.
Yeah. Or you can just buy one unbroken for $200.
And that's three easy installments.
Right. Shit.
I'm just trying to take care of my family.
Speaking of listeners, let's jump into these listener questions. I was excited about this first question. When I saw this, I was like, this is going to be fun. And once that's why I was so interested to see if you was going to be back, Al, because I wanted to get your answer on this one. But Bernard from Brooklyn, New York. Shout out to Bernard and shout out to Brooklyn. It's
Shout out to Brooklyn.
in the house.
BK in the
Without
house,
a doubt.
No
My birthplace. Shout out to Brooklyn.
Word.
Shouts for
Bernard wants to
Brooklyn.
know, Al, we're going to start with you. Who's your favorite member of Wu-Tang and why?
So, it was a dude that's been listening for a minute to the Wu. I'm ended up with RZA.
Oh, okay.
And honestly, like, I've had phases of meth. I've had phases where it was Ghost. I even had a phase where it was Death. But I think as I look back, and it's RZA. I like that how he kind of coordinates and produces, and he's just kind of like that central dude in there. And he's a leader, but not out, but he is. And I just like his flow. I like who he is. I like him as an actor. Right. Yeah, I like RZA. The beats, all that. He's all that. He's thorough with his. He's a shaw. He's a shaw.
Hey, Al, I got a contrarian point of view over here. How do you feel about the allegations that the RZA and Silk the Shocker share the same ghostwriter?
Oh. I didn't even hear those allegations.
No, that's because they're completely made up allegations. But my biggest problem with the RZA has always been
I'm like, okay.
why your flow gotta sound like Silk the Shocker's, and how come Silk the Shocker gets no love for that?
Ooh, Jay! Woo-hoo-hoo! I actually.
Do we need examples?
Yeah, give us a couple of examples, West Coast.
What you got?
Perpendicular to the square, I stand through like flare, escape from your dragon's lair, in particular.
But that don't sound like Silk the Shocker, though.
That's not. Yeah, dude.
Doesn't it, though?
Yeah, dude.
No.
He gonna make him say, I'm gonna make him say, I'm not Eric
Like the
B,
movie.
but I'm guaranteed to move this motherfucking crowd. That's not the same flow.
So are you saying his flow or his lyrics?
That's the same flow. That's the same cadence. That's the same, help me understand this.
Yeah, but like RZA actually saying something.
Perpendicular to the square, I stand for like flare, escape from your dragon's lair, in particular. Okay.
As opposed to...
He gonna make him say, I'm gonna make him say, I'm not Eric B, but I'm guaranteed to move this motherfucking crap.
You gotta admit that there's a little more, like, he didn't even have a 3-syllable word in that verse.
Okay.
Silk has some 3-syllable words, though.
He did. I mean,
Make him say it's not one word. Make him say it's 3 words, man.
I was just tossing that out there because it's bothered me for years.
Wow.
That's
for years, though.
Yeah.
I feel you, West Coast Jay. I feel you.
Y'all about to get muted. But anyway, there's no fucking way. Like, it's no fucking way in nobody. When you say ghostwriter, that's what I thought you meant, like their penmanship. If you're gonna take like 2 lines out of 2 different songs and say their cadence was the same, okay, if it fits your narrative. But there's no way over the body of their work you can compare those 2 as rappers.
Now I'm trying to think of some more Silk verses. Because
you done trained yourself to forget them all.
I told Jay.
I was surprised
Silk,
I remembered that one.
Right.
Silk is nicer than these little mumble rappers out now, and Jay had disagreed with me. And I was like, nah,
no,
man.
I didn't disagree with you. I said I would tell you why you're wrong on a 10 spot. So, since we never did the 10 spot, here's what I'm saying. And I ain't even saying you're wrong. I'm just saying it's not the same conversation to me because I look at mumble rap as a different genre. And so I don't compare like mumble rappers to hip hop rappers or to rappers from the 90s or earlier. I don't compare them because they're 2 different genres to me. So to say that he's better than them, on what basis are we saying? Because they're 2 different genres. I'm comparing him to his contemporaries and his peers. He trash.
Hilarious.
Like, who in that era? Like, if you got to go 2 decades to find somebody as whack as you pretty fucking whack.
Oh.
So, who in that era would you say is comparable to Silk the Shocker?
You said 2 decades.
Can't think of anyone.
Right.
I can't at all. I was just
Exactly.
tossing it out there, mostly to make people mad, because that cracks me up personally.
Back then, man, Silk was woo.
So it was trash. And so, same. You know, it's hard to compare eras across sports. I can't compare eras across rappers because that's two completely different genres.
I'm gonna listen to Charge It to the Game tomorrow though, because it wasn't that hard. It wasn't that bad. It wasn't that bad of an album.
Was Silk on it?
It was his album.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. That shit was that bad of an album.
To change, everybody know my name. I guess I gotta charge it to the game.
Like,
That shit was
the fact that you just said that like it was hard, like that shit don't even make no sense.
It's all
Like,
good, buddy.
you said that shit like you dropped the mic or some shit. Like, really? That's it? I was waiting you to say some more, like you was just getting warmed up.
That's the only verse I know. I remember from the album, and that one, and when that kid said, "I'm gonna make you scream," like the movie.
That shit's terrible, man.
I'm so distracted. That kid said, "I'm gonna make you scream," like the movie. He said that shit as a bar, dog. I was like, what?
That was a whole bar right there.
Oh,
In fact, an argument can be made that he invented mumble rap. That shit sound like a mumble rap verse to me. Oh
terrible,
shit!
man.
Make you scream,
Man.
like the movie.
So,
Oh boy.
now that we passed that whack ass sidebar about Shocker, Money, who your favorite member of Wu-Tang, man?
Meth. Mr. Method Man, yo, I love his style. I love his voice, his flow, his raspiness. I always thought Meth was dope, man. And when you feature Meth, oh man,
Yeah.
he bringing that fire, yo. He's spitting straight blaze. Love Meth, man.
So
for all of those reasons.
So for me to be the antagonist, now it's my turn.
Ooh.
What do you say to the widely accepted fact that Meth has trash solo albums?
I would.
Damn.
Oh wait. That you saying that all of them are trash, or that some of them?
I would say all of them not trash.
And
Not all
well,
trash.
all of them are, I would say, trash in relative to his Wu-Tang brethren.
Okay.
Cal went hard.
I'm about to say Takal wasn't trash to compare
Cal
to nobody.
went hard.
His first album wasn't trash.
The first album had 2 bangers on it. The rest of it was okay.
Oof.
And
Yeah,
now the 2 bangers carried that shit. Them 2 bangers was bangers.
Yeah, they.
But-
I was gonna say.
But the rest
I don't
of
know,
it was
Jay.
just okay.
I mean, with that same argument, you could say that for every member of the Wu-Tang. Who
Nah.
had more than 2 bangers off of one of their songs? Off
The
one of their albums?
the purple tape was the whole shit was bangers.
So Ray?
That's
Yeah, Ray about
you
the
asked
only
me,
one. I'll
you
give
asked
you
me
Ray.
who. I said I gave you who.
I'll give you Ray.
Yeah.
I mean, because
Dirt's first album, that whole shit was bangers. Dirt's first album was dope.
Who's?
Oh, Dirty. His first
Yeah,
album
Dirt
was
was
dope.
Yeah.
It wasn't bangers all the way through though.
It was at least halfway through. It was more than 2.
I mean, and I don't want to be devalued because I'm, you know, I loved OD his first joint. I love all their music. You know, not all of it,
Right.
but a lot of it.
No,
You know what I mean?
for the most part, I love all of it.
Takal,
But I didn't think any of them.
Takal was
I didn't think any of them were elite solo.
Oh, the purple tape's a
Um,
classic.
I mean, I'm talking about from like from a holistic point of view. But to answer your question, there's some truth in that. Now I won't say all his albums were trash, but there's some truth in the fact that as a solo artist, they didn't bring the same, I guess, success. I didn't think their bars were as clever and meaningful and as strong as they are when they feature with each other. But I mean, that's a symptom of
absolutely.
That's a symptom of a lot of dudes and women these days. Like a lot of times, like it's just very hard to be consistent. I felt the same way about, it was just thinking like groups. I felt the same way about people. Damn, that shit just came to my mind now. Like outside of, I felt the same way about No Limit and some of those other labels. Like I just felt like some of those artists weren't as strong solo artists as they were. Like Dipset, for instance. Like I felt like together, them niggas was dope. And then when you kind of break them down individually, together, they was dope. But when you start to break them down individually, into their own projects, it wasn't bad, but it wasn't like, it wasn't great either.
Yeah.
But as opposed to somebody like The Lox, where I felt like when it's all three of them, they give you that fire, and when they all apart, they give you that fire.
Right.
Like, so I don't know, man. I always felt like with the Wu individually, like some of their solo projects could have been better for them to be the great lyricists that I know they were. But when they featured, oh golly, they tough. Yeah.
All right.
So I'll leave it at that.
Okay, Jay, who's your favorite Wu member?
Oh, it's Pretty Tone. Like that's just simple for me. It's just what I got. I had to talk about the one that drag his mink on the floor.
All right.
Tone come in. Plus, Sure, La Femme. Is that what the song is called? I don't even know what the song is called. I just know, but that's every time. Every time that come on, it's going down on the dance floor. It is what it is.
Shay La Ghost.
Shay La Ghost. Right. Yeah. It's going down. Tone be having me dying. Plus, he's another one that kills me with lyrics. They ain't got nothing to do with nothing. Like
that's what I was
going
to say about Ghost and Ray kind of speak their own language.
Yeah. Well, Ray speak like a hustler. I'll give him that 100%. Ray speak like a for real hustler.
Yeah, but I'm saying when they together, because they do a lot of their verses together. But when they together, it's almost like they speaking their own language. It's like listening to a E40 album almost.
Yeah, they talking real, like I'm saying, they talking real street spit, like for real. They saying real hood stuff to each other. That like if you in the game, you in the game.
But the shit sound dope.
But it sound fly when they say it though. But yeah, Tone be getting me every single time. That, and he's another one that his solo albums they give me. His solo albums we have to be dying because he's got so many of them that nobody's paying attention to them all. There's no way you can know them all.
Yeah,
like he kills me with them. The one that makes me laugh probably the most was the secret one was Ghost Dini. Ghost Dini had me dying laughing. Like if you listen to all of these again, Ghost is always gonna be my favorite of the Wu. Quick shout out to Ray, because you're right, they speak their own special language, and you already know as a Bay Boy I can't help it, but I like it when people talking about stuff the people don't understand, like Camp Low and them. I love hearing it when they just start talking to each other, and we all got to be like, "Did you get that?"
All right.
That always will make me laugh. But even on and as a feature, come on, man. Tone be having me dying laughing. I'm thinking about the new God flow with Kanye and Pusha. That fool came out the blue. Hey, I had my go Jesus piece way before y'all was talking about that. In my eagle. You know what I'm saying? Like he just came in buzzing.
Even
so
even on the new joint with Tiana Taylor.
That shit is hot.
You gonna love me? Yeah, that shit's fire. Like, he did his thing on that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like Tone is the one to me. Every single time he gonna have me dying laughing. But again, shout out to Ray for keeping it all the way hood every time.
All right. Yeah, I don't think it's a wrong answer to this question unless you say you God. That might be the only wrong answer. Like, whose favorite is you God? You know anybody whose favorite is you God? Nobody has favorite. But
nah.
Yeah, I wouldn't. But
even you guys, mom and dad be like,
right.
I mean, they're real serious. I messes with the old school the young baby Jesus. I messes with the old Dirt McGirt.
Right. But yeah, it's tough. I would say as a lyricist, my favorite has always been Deck. Just because he's so consistent. Like he's never.
Yeah, he's clean
every time.
Yeah, he's just, and I think that's the best way to put it. He's clean. Like there's never any drop off. It's never like when he's on a song, you like, man, he got washed on that track. Like never.
Right.
Nope, not ever.
I think like the most. So as like a lyricist, he's always been my favorite. The most charismatic, of course, is Meth to me. You know, so I probably know more of his lyrics than anybody, just because his flow and his voice, like it's so memorable, so easy to remember. But again, I don't think it's a wrong answer to this question. It's a damn good question.
Meth's voice sells him completely too. Meth's voice is so unique.
Right.
Yeah, it really is.
Like so unique.
I think one of the more slept on of them all, like people don't give him credit, but is high quality, is Master Killer.
Oh, Master Killer.
And
yeah.
I think he got some projects, some albums that like you listen to, and it's like he don't really rise to the like where some just crazy dope shit. Like I don't hear a lot of that on his album. But most of it is like really, really, really solid. Like role player solid all the way through. Like, but people don't give him no clout at all. Yeah. Like, I mean, people who know do. People who know do, but not enough to.
Right. Yeah. Right. He's Andre Iguodala.
Yeah, real solid.
Yeah, just solid. And Pooh gonna say he trash. Bernard, damn good question. Again, when we spent 30 minutes talking about your question, it was a dope ass question.
Shout out to Silk Shocker.
Oh God.
Oh yeah. Shout out to Silk, man.
And if you make us talk about Silk the Shocker, you got a really good question. If you force us to talk about Silk. Our next question is from Sharla in Atlanta. Shout out to Sharla. Shout out to the A. Right up the street from you, Al. Tell Sharla I said what up.
Calm down.
Yeah. So another good question. West Coast Jace, we'll start with you since you got the freshest feeling about this. What do you enjoy most about podcasting?
Man, well, for this one, I feel like I got to channel my inner Yosh right quick. I wish I had some music on in the background. You said, Sharla, hey girl.
Oh, God.
No.
How you doing? You know,
it's like 9-1 in Atlanta.
That's what I'm saying. Like, how you doing? Was what it do, as it were. But more than anything, I think what I like about the podcast situationing, what I enjoy about podcasting is being able to give my opinion, unpopular or not, and actually get feedback, like this particular forum with the as many of us as there are, I love getting instant feedback. So I get the instant feedback from you guys when I'm talking to you, and then I get feedback later on when somebody else hears it and says, "Man, you know you was wrong when you said so shocking and RZA was saved." I'm like, I know I'm gonna get that. Like, I know. I'm prepared for it, y'all. It's cool. Like, it was a joke mostly. In my defense, it was mostly a joke. But no, like it's the like I listen to a bunch of podcasts, and the idea that I get to share my ideas, to share my opinions, and have people be able to give me an honest response that's my favorite. You know, I really enjoy podcasting with you guys in particular because it's not ever like I don't ever have to end a conversation with, "Oh, all right, I'm done here because you're not talking about anything now." Like, you guys always bring something to the table. So in reality, my favorite part about podcasting is probably y'all. Like, I enjoy y'all.
Checks in the mail, sir.
Thanks. We get paid on Thursdays, right? It's Thursday. All right.
Direct deposit on
Yeah, all right.
There we go.
We get paid every 6th Thursday.
In odd months.
Even years.
But yeah, I mean that's my short answer to a simple question. Like that's what I like. I enjoy being able to share my opinion with people who will, one way or the other, be able to have intelligent discourse about it.
Right. Okay. Al, what say you?
That's it, man. It's just this idea that there's this platform where we have voices. It's a platform to learn from each other. I think I like the fact that we modeling Black men intelligently, passionately, holding conversations. But at the end of the day, we could go at each other hard and then go cop a slice of pizza together. Like, it ain't no hard feelings afterwards. It's just this idea that we are just sharing our opinion but listening. And I think, to me, you know, that's how you get to understand it, and we need more of that. So I like being part of this, and yeah, it's all dope to me.
Yeah, no doubt. Money?
So this is an important question. I get, I could go in a lot of directions with this, but I think I'm going to combine some of what West Coast Jay said and Al. Like, I love what we do, first and foremost, because I feel like what we do is important. I feel like it's needed. I feel like it's educational. I feel like it's necessary. I feel like we have a message, and that in our current environment, like, that message is important. Like, we bring things to the listeners. Sometimes things are serious. Like, we have really serious, in-depth, focus and important conversations on this show. And I really enjoy that aspect to it, where we can educate people on because in my opinion, we touch lives, we change lives. We never know what our words may have prevented. Like, I think back about our conversation about Chicago. Like, we never know what we just prevented or helped change a young man or young woman's thought process, or they'll help save their life. Or, when a listener asks us a question about, this or that, like, I just always feel like our authenticity and the way that we're bringing our message, I hope is helping. I think we're all very woke. We're all very, like, pro our people and the advancement and education of our people, and people in general. So I don't want to just leave it there. Like, I think the show's inspiring, and like I said, I hope it's helpful. And so that's the first element. And I like, I like hearing the sound of my own voice.
Way to keep it real.
All right. Like because sometimes I'm talking to me, and mostly, man, I love y'all. Like, I mean, me and G, like, for instance, Jay and I have been having these conversations for 20 years. Like, we've known each other since college. So, Thomas also, Yosh also. So, like, our network, our show, it expounds and expands upon our friendship and our deep love that we have for each other, and our knowledges of ourselves and our personality. So I think the fit and the flow is good. So I mean, those are the reasons why I love it. I mean, I could go on, but I definitely don't. I mean, I could probably talk about this for a long time. So I don't want to keep going and going. But those are my three primary reasons. Just because I love these guys. I love the ability that we have a soundboard for a message, and being able to deliver that message. So those would be the three things that I really love the most.
Gotcha. And if I could piggyback, I also like that we give an opportunity for others to be highlighted. And so like the segments with entrepreneurs, the resume writing, interviews that we've done. Right. Like to me, like, that also, there's not enough of that in this world, in our community. So I think for us to, because I agree, Money, when you say, like, you like hearing your voice, we all like hearing our voices. That's why we do it, right? But at the same time, we like hearing each other's voices and other people's voices that we can bring on and put on. So it's a blessing. It's a blessing.
Yeah, and shout out to Brad from Brad J Resumes, who left a fire-ass 5-star review on Defy Life's Facebook page today.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Hey, Brad, I promise you I was listening before I asked when we get paid. I promise I was listening though. But to bring it all back around.
That was good advice, though.
It was. Yeah. To bring it all back around and to rechannel my inner Yosh, we do it for y'all. Like the bottom line of it all is we do it for y'all. Like we do it because there's somebody that has an opinion that's similar to mine, that has an opinion that's similar to Money's, that has an opinion that's similar to Al's. Every so often somebody got one that's like Jay's, but in general, we're talking. It gives us an opportunity to speak to a mirror. Like we're talking to you because you guys are talking to us. Like it is what it is. Yeah. And for the ladies out there, I'm talking to you directly. You know what it is.
Yosh gonna get you.
Yosh told me to do that for me.
Right, you did.
represent.
Yeah.
Gotta hold the homie down.
Right. I think the thing that sticks out to most of me is this shit is easy. Because it's easy being ourselves. Like it's never forced. Like through, what are we on, episode 109?
109.
With one thrown in that didn't record right, so really we on like 109 and a half. But the shit is just real, and it never seems forced. And so the fact that we can jump from politics to sports to current events and really speak intelligently about them, and it never seems forced. So, like, not only is it fun and it's real, but I look forward to it because it's a highlight of my week. Because for two reasons: one, at least 2 times an episode, one of y'all gonna impress the shit out of me. I might not tell you, but I'm gonna be like, that. That's fucking impressive. Because I didn't see it from that perspective, and even if I did, I didn't go that far down the road. And then 2, there's not a lot of people in my life I can have these conversations with without somebody getting angry or, walking away from the conversation, hanging up the phone. So to be able to have this, this circle of people that I can have a weekly conversation with and discuss things that that we've seen through the week. And, like you said, we bring other people's voices in and the shit just flows. So, it's a highlight of my week, man. Always has been. And, even when we, Keon leaves, we bring money in. Yosh jumps in, Yosh leaves, go back to his old show, bring Jay in, and the shit just continues to flow. And I think it's a culture that we built, and I'm thankful for it.
Absolutely. And I'll say this, just to, it helps me. Like being on the show helps me. It helps me in, my profession and my ability to communicate, to listen and to hear, and to communicate effectively and efficiently. I just had a conference where I had 3 presentations last week, and I do these presentations, so it's not like but this helped. I'm like, hey, I talk to thousands of people every week, so this ain't, it was nothing to me. I just kind of got up there and I kind of did my thing, but I didn't even, the initial nerves, as soon as the words started coming out of my mouth, they were all gone. Right. So I was like, oh my, I saw these people as I do this on the microphone. What if my presentation or go to what I wanted to? What if I'll click this button, doesn't work right? And so a couple of times those things happen, but then you just I'm so used to just, speaking from a place of knowledge and being authentic that I'm not even sure if the people that were watching even knew, because they didn't know the words I was about to say. So they don't know you messed up, or they don't know that the button didn't work right or whatever. They just know, and you just kind of, the way that we have to improvise sometimes, or the quick-wittedness of thinking on your feet, communicating on your feet, responding to a witty remark, all of that helps me, because it helps me in my roles where I'm dealing with clients and I'm speaking, and sometimes they roll out of the woodwork with the punches, and you gotta be able to come right back with a solution. So, yeah, I'll even say that.
Okay. Well, damn good question, Sharla. Again, y'all keep these questions coming. We always tell you we enjoy them because we genuinely do. And if you want something addressed on the show, if you got a question you want to be answered, or if you just disagree with something we say, you want to give us the business, email us at info@godefylife.com, or you can hit us up on all social media platforms at godefylife, and we'll get to your questions as soon as we can. We got a backlog of these things that we get to, so we appreciate it. Bernard, Sharla, thank you. We are going to jump into a commercial really quick, and we'll be right back with some NBA talk. And then West Coast Jay's going to debut his trivia hosting skills. So we'll be right back.
Yeah.
Hey, Siri,
Hey, how may I help you?
play the Relationship Status Podcast.
Playing the Relationship Status Podcast.
I would ask him, what are you doing? Where are you going with this? What are you trying? And he really didn't have, a real answer.
Okay.
So I didn't feel like we were going to be compatible later on down the line.
I think that goes back to something I've often heard and think myself, that men date women thinking they're never going to change, and women date men
Thinking that they are.
thinking that they can change them.
Relationship Status. New episode every Monday at 12 noon on Defy Life Network.
Welcome back to episode 109 of the Defy Life podcast. This is J.R. Glymph. With me is Alvin Glymph, Gerald Hedrick, West Coast Jay. Guys, we left off. We were just finished wrapping up the listener questions. We are going to get into some NBA Finals talk. Before we preview the finals, Somebody sent me a video right before we got on the show. Shannon Sharp talking about Steph Curry. And just, of course, they were talking about the finals. And Shannon Sharp said essentially that if the Warriors win this series and Steph plays well and gets the MVP, he is a lock for top 10 all-time status. Al, what you think about that?
Wow. Yeah, like if he does what Shannon put out there, I would definitely. I mean, off the top of the head, I would say that's a yes. And I'd have to play with some names to see if he falls in the top 10 or not. But he definitely has been a leader on a team, like MVP caliber leader of a team that has gone to 5 straight. Might win 4 out of 5. Has been, a leading player, getting them there and winning it. And he's had a lot to say about that. I have to agree with him.
Yeah.
He might bump somebody out. Somebody, like who he was like, he might get some argument on who he bumps out of the top 10, but I think he would be in there.
Okay. Money, what you think about that?
Man, I don't like to give guys a ranking until their careers are done. Until I can see the whole body of work. But I mean, Steph's already number 1 on so many lists. It'll be hard pressed to. It'll be hard pressed to deny him off the top 10 all time list, even right now before the. I can remember back. People have to understand, like they haven't lost a game since Durant got hurt. I remember people saying they were done. Steph just said no, like, and I remember going back a couple shows ago. I was like, no, Steph is still Steph. Like, I think I was arguing with Yosh, and I was like, nah, Steph is still Steph. I think people forget, like, because he doesn't have to be that good all the time, because Jay, like you said, Durant was such a luxury. Other people were such a luxury that I really think sometimes people forget just how good 30 is. Yeah. And he really is special, and he has that other level. He has that other gear, and it just seems like sometimes it seems like he's coasting through the game, and then you look up, he's got 30. I just, if they win this series, which I believe that they will, it's going to be tough to keep him off that top 10 list. Like I said, I think it's tough to keep him off that list now, just because he's already the best shooter we've ever seen, and it's going to be tough to keep him off that list just from that alone. But if he has the type of finals where I think he's going to have, then he'll have another finals MVP. Like, it's just Steph, man. Like, I agree.
Okay. Jay, what do you think?
Steph is the best shooter we've ever seen. In a lot of people's opinion, he's already in the top 10. Okay. Specifically because of the records that he consistently is breaking. He's breaking his own records at this point. He's changed the game. Yeah. The way people shoot is different now. All right.
When you say he's, can you expound on that statement? He's changed the game. I'm really interested in what you mean when you say that.
I mean, it literally the way that people shoot. Somebody said to me one day, I think it might have been Jay actually, who was like, if the thing about Steph is that he looks like an everyman. And from most people's opinion, most people look at Steph Curry and think to themselves, you know what? I could take him in a one-on-one. Whereas you don't look at a LeBron like that. You don't look at a Giannis like that. There's just because of their physical stature. You automatically know there's no way I'm gonna beat that person, yada yada. But you look at Steph, like 6'4", I could probably take him. And then all of a sudden, he's shooting from places that were not considered good shots anymore.
Yeah.
Like he legitimately has take the ball out range. Like enough, he's hit enough turnaround at the buzzer 80-footers for us to be like, all right, I guess he can do that too. He is the all-time 3-point leader. The all-time so many different shooting things. Like he's a 2-time MVP. He was an NBA steals leader, and his defense is constantly the thing that we talk the most about. He's won the 3-point championship. He's won the skills championship. He's won the NBA sportsmanship award. All rookie first team. Like, I'm just rattling off stats. Like, he's easily already, if he retired right now before the finals, he's a first ballot Hall of Famer. Yeah. And if he wins this final, then there's almost no question, not even almost, there's no question that he should be considered a top 10 all-time player. Specifically because with that shot, it's not necessarily based on athleticism. He could have shot in any era. You know, would he have gotten through the key the same way in the 80s? Probably not. However, that shot's not going anywhere. You know, plus he's crafty at the rim. He would have been
he's a shot maker.
He's a shot maker. That's what he does. He makes shots.
So let's play a little game.
He shot so well. He shot so well and has been so public and promoted. I think social media has played a lot to do with it, along with just, TV in general. But he's probably been the first shooter that has really impacted the masses in terms of not just the want to shoot, but the preparation and practice to shoot. Like, his career has exposed the idea that, if you put up 600 shots, like a game, like a day or something like that, or consistently, if you've practiced shooting the right way hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of times from a young age, by the time you get to be like in your 20s, you can be a really, really, really good shooter.
Yeah, and Steph's kind of been the first shooter to make shooting cool.
Yes.
Like, it used to be, of course, before Steph, it was, if you ain't dunking, you ain't cool. It was nice to have the shot, but, for the kids. So, it's actually cool to be a shooter because of Steph. Like, you go in the gym now, like when we used to go in the gym, man, you see a bunch of kids know they ain't going to dunk, but everybody getting hung by the rim trying to dunk. Now, kids go in the gym, first thing they do is go to the three-point line.
Jacking up threes.
Go back further. Go back further. Go back further. See how far you can, like, so.
Did y'all talk about how he basically has made the center position an obsolete position in the game?
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. He's a game changer.
Yeah. Like, did y'all say that? I'm sorry, my phone was ringing, so I couldn't hear.
Yeah, no, we haven't. You just brought that up, but he's a game changer. He's made it so that centers now feel like they have to add a 3-point shot to their arsenal,
or they can't be on the court. Yeah,
right.
Yeah,
like he changes spacing. He changes the way you defend.
The pace of the game is different. Guys, there's at least 14 or 15 more possessions now. And people can argue this, but he did all of that. He did all of that.
And you could argue that he's done more to change the game than any player in history.
I would make that
any player. Well, I would say besides like one of the tall guys like a Wilt or Kareem that made you change the rules. You know what I mean? So like they put 3-second violation. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like you can't hang up. So there were rule changes due to their height. So I might throw that in, but without a doubt, Curry has changed the game significantly.
So let me play a little game really quick because I know you mentioned now that somebody's going to have to be pushed out. So just off the top of my head, really quick, if I say a name, this player remains in the top 10 over Steph. Okay, Mike, and I'm starting at the top. Yeah. All right, LeBron.
Yes.
Yeah.
Kareem.
Yeah.
Yes.
Magic.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wilt.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
He scored 100 points. I gotta say, yeah.
Russell.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I'll give you Russell.
All right. Shaq. So
I hold him
nice.
right now.
Shaq impacted the rules.
Now you getting to the places where I gotta start.
I'll hold him off for now.
All right. Kobe.
Kobe can go.
I'll put Kobe on the list, but I'll put him in the questionable right now in terms of above Curry. But those are definitely these are the guys we're gonna argue about.
Yeah, these are the guys that I would start to have arguments about.
So, all right, Larry Bird.
But honestly, go ahead. Bird.
Larry did some things for about 5 seasons.
And I don't want to create the argument right here, but the point I'm trying to make is you get to 5, 6,
7, 8, 9.
You
That's
can
9
start
names.
arguing. Right.
Yeah, when you get to about 5, 6,
Right, and you start.
Actually,
of course,
we haven't got to Duncan.
Elijah.
We haven't got to Elijah Wan.
Right. Yeah.
I might take Duncan off, man.
No fucking way.
I wouldn't.
Who you? Okay, I said I ain't creating an argument, but but I mean, but that in itself,
and
like
honestly,
you get past 5 names and you can start arguing.
Yep. Like,
see, that's what I'm talking about. Like, with this list, I don't know if I don't put Curry above these guys though.
Okay. Well, let me tell you another stat. Let me tell you something else interesting. We ain't never in our lifetime seen a team go to 5 straight finals.
Yeah.
And the last team that did it, it was like 8 teams in the league.
Yeah.
That's fair.
If you want to talk about those old Celtic teams.
I mean, but LeBron did it though, right?
No, LeBron did it across 3 different teams.
3 different teams. But
I mean, 3 different teams, but he did it as a player. And,
right.
But that's not.
I appreciate the distinction. I appreciate this distinction for franchise to franchise.
Right.
But
we're talking about a player.
When you look at what LeBron accomplished, like you Warriors, y'all still got a while to go. Like, to me, that's the more impressive statistic.
How much more wild do they got to go? They've been to 5 straight finals.
Well, no, but the point is, we're not talking about the Warriors.
More impressive, I just think.
Yeah, and we're not talking about the Warriors as a whole. We're talking about Steph.
Well, Steph been to 5 straight finals.
But that's what Al's saying. So is LeBron. Regardless of how he did it, LeBron went to what? 8 straight?
8 straight.
So
so honestly, with this list,
I can make an argument there because I
changed my opinion.
I can say that I don't think LeBron would have went to 8 straight finals had he stayed on either one of those teams for 8 straight years.
Yeah, but he didn't. Like, that's like saying Steph wouldn't have done it if they wouldn't have brought KD in. We can make all kind of arguments and throw shit in.
No, it's not. Because
it's the same. It is because
what makes the argument the same is if he stays on the same team.
No, what makes the argument the same is that you're saying if this happened, that wouldn't have happened. I'm saying if this hadn't happened, it wouldn't have happened. It's the same thing. You throwing in your own make believe stuff and making it fact.
That's not make believe.
That is make believe. You can't prove
make believe.
Okay, prove it then.
Here's what I'm saying.
No,
because I'm not trying to make this a
no,
versus. No.
You don't get to skip by this shit. Prove it.
I can't prove it.
Exactly. So it's make believe.
But that don't make it make believe.
It does. If it doesn't exist, it's make believe. You make it.
It's not a fact. It's not a fact. But I just know it's true.
Okay, so it's
so
your
you
truth,
really want
it's not a fact.
So
got
you're
you. I got
so you just said that statement, but you want us to listen to the shit you about to say right now.
Because what I'm about to say is, because what I was about to say is, I'm not trying to turn this into like a LeBron thing. I don't want to
No, I'm
get
not.
into that debate. Like,
No, we
all
talking
I'm
about
saying
stuff.
is,
I'm just saying.
in the modern era, we've never seen a team go to 5 straight finals. And I'm not talking about an individual, like the LeBron thing is crazy. Like, I think that shit's crazy, but I've already given accolades there. What I haven't done is give Steph accolades for going to 5 straight finals.
Yeah,
That's what I haven't done.
Do you get what you're doing though? Do you like? We're not talking about the Warriors. The point, the
I
question.
just said Steph. I said I haven't given Steph accolades for going to 5 straight finals.
I mean, then you also got to give Clay and Dre.
That's what I'm saying. So did Clay, so did Dre.
I'll give Clay and Dre those accolades because they've been to 5 straight finals.
Therefore, you're talking about the Warriors. What we're talking about is player to player. Those players we just named. Are they the best? Is he one of the best 10 basketball players you've ever seen?
No.
I'm still going with yeah.
In my opinion, I'm still saying yeah.
I'm going with hell no. And I ain't saying I wouldn't put him at 11 or 12. He ain't breaking that top 10 right now.
And I'm not saying he might not make it. And to your point, Money, of judge him when he's finished. When he's finished, he might be there. But now that we done played the game, nah, I can't say that.
Yeah. I don't like to play this game until guys are finished. I really don't.
Well, but as some guys before, like LeBron, you don't have to wait till he's done. You didn't have to wait till Tim Duncan was done.
Come on, man. LeBron is 17 years in, 18, 19, 16, something crazy like that. That's a long time.
Steph 30 years old, dude. Steph ain't
He's been in the league. He's been in the league half the amount of time as LeBron.
When LeBron was in the league 9-10 years, he was already in the top 10. That's what I'm saying.
Man. Here you go.
When Kobe was in the league 9-10 years, he was already in. It ain't the fact that I like LeBron. We just talking about him. I say the same thing about Kobe, Michael, Magic. It's the same. Like, I don't have to wait to the end of their careers to say he's an all-time great.
All-time great is different from top 10.
Okay, but I'm saying top. We already know we talking about top 10. So if you want me to say the words, it didn't take me 10 years to figure out that they in the top 10. That makes you feel better.
He's already easily an all-time great. Top 10. I don't know. He ain't done yet. Let's wait and see.
But we're saying based off what we know now. And so for those guys who we know are on the list, those guys that we just said, yes, that we didn't have to think about, you didn't have to wait 15 years to know if they were in the top 10.
I'm not waiting 15 years to say Steph in the top 10.
All right. And
so I will argue that.
Who you saying he's over Kobe? Jay?
I could begin to make the argument.
I'm going to say that I'd have to say that at this point, yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
Money, you saying he's over Duncan?
I have to begin to make the argument.
Yes,
I will have to begin to make the argument.
He's over Tim. So, are you saying, so is Steph the greatest point guard of all time?
Somebody said to me the other day, Tim Duncan has never won a finals by himself.
Nobody done it by himself. What do you mean?
Like, somebody said that to me the other day, and I tried to argue for Tim Duncan. And he was like, think about it.
Who they won with Parker and Ginobili?
Okay, there was Parker and Ginobili. There was those. David.
Okay, name me one player who's done it by himself. Nobody.